Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Damos in the Class where we are reading Hello Neighbor Missing Pieces. We are up to chapter 6, guys, but we just want to make sure that everyone is caught up to where we're at now. So, what's going on right now, Jamie? Do you remember?
Yeah.
What happened?
Nick's dad met his friend from college, and his friend has a son named Enzo, and Enzo thinks that Aaron is a serial killer.
So from where they met at the square, they saw a plaque of Lucy Yee, which is said in love and memory, and
Lucy Yee is that girl from the amusement park who got killed.
Who was tragically killed because of the malfunction with the amusement park ride. So they had seen her, and Nick was asking Enzo if he had known her. He said, yeah, everyone knew her, which is also pretty sad because she was well known.
She was 7 too, right?
Yeah, she was only 7 years old.
Yeah, so that's sad, guys. So we're trying to see now what's going to happen, because basically Nick knows what happened to Lucy Yee, and Aaron didn't tell him. He found out on his own. But his biggest issue now is trying to convince Enzo that Aaron isn't a serial killer. So I don't know how he's going to do that, especially when Nick still hasn't told Aaron that he even knows about Lucy. So, come on, guys. Let's dive into chapter 6. We're going to let Jalea read first, then Jamir, and then I will take it on down.
Aaron and I are doing reconnaissance, which is a cooler way of saying we're doing research. That might make my scientist mother and journalist father proud if it were reconnaissance for science or journalism. But Aaron and I are doing research for my fart machine. Okay, walk me through it one more time, Aaron says. It's an audio-initiated voice manipulator programmed to distort the vocal reception based on tonal input. It's by far my most sophisticated machine to date, something I haven't had a lot of time to play with ever since Aaron and I started spending every waking minute picking locks at the factory. To be honest, it feels good to be sharing something with Aaron that I know how to do better than him. Aaron presses the top of his head like it hurts. So how does it work? I told you, I say, trying not to get frustrated. No, you just said a bunch of words and strung them together in a sentence. That doesn't mean you explained anything.
How do you know so much about locks and you can't follow the mechanics of an audio manipulator? How do you keep talking too much without making any sense? Boys, if you don't mind, I would prefer you maintain a peaceful tone in my store.
Talk louder.
In my store. My patrons have come to expect a heightened state of consciousness when they visit. Aaron tries to stuff a laugh, but it escapes in a snort. I explode. Elbow his rib and shove him behind a display of healing crystals. Sorry, Mrs. Tillman. The natural grocer is the first place our reconnaissance has taken us. We're in need of supplies, and we have reasons to believe we'll find the best ones here. Mrs. Tillman swallows a tight swallow and turns with the stiffness of someone who commands himself to relax. Commands herself to relax. The heightened state of consciousness. Aaron
hisses.
Dude, quiet down. Per the only heightness anything in here are her whack
Wackadoodle
wackadoodle but
prices.
prices. Per she used to buy goat cheese from the llama guy and let girl Scots
Scouts.
scouts set sell sell cookies under her
Awning.
awning. Per goat cheese. I asked. Per yeah, I guess he's got goats, comma too. Per anyway, that's not the point. Aaron says. Per she used to be nice. Per then she goes to the silent retreat.
Hmm.
Doesn't talk for 2 weeks, and when she comes back she's selling all these
Expensive,
expensive
bogus.
bogus vitamins and $5 candy bars. Period.
He puts air quotes around candy bars, and I have to laugh because this is the first time I've ever seen Aaron get vocally worked up about anything, and apparently he's got it out for phony new age capitalism. I pick up a bar from a large end cap display. The bar is way heavier than it should be, and indeed it is marked $4.95. The word survivor emblazoned across the packaging. Are these the Thart bars? Aaron snorts again. Yeah, seriously, you've never smelled anything like it. Picture a toxic waste dump filled with dirty diapers in a sulfur pit. We each grab 3 bars before making our way to the counter. It's 6 weeks worth of allowance, but it's money well spent, all in the name of research. 32.95. Miss Tillman says, this time not even bothering with her tight smile. Thanks, Miss Tillman, Aaron says, matching her frown with an extra wide smile. The drugstore by the square sells candy bars that might be more within your budget, she says before handing us a paper bag, and this time she does smile. On the way back to Aaron's house, I turn to him. So we'll be testing out the audio synthesizer at the natural grocer. Absolutely, Aaron says.
Good, I say. Good, he says. That night, after 2 Survivor bars and Mom's famous cabbage rolls, I'm passing enough gas to rocket me to Mars. If only my audio synthesizer were complete, I'd be able to test it. But like a dummy, I left my power drill at Aaron's house. And besides, he's the only one with the recorder. Just then, like it can hear my thoughts, the high whir of a drill floats across the street in the direction of Aaron's house. Oh man, I grumble, stumbling toward the window. You're gonna burn out the battery. I haven't unpacked my charger yet, and it's because I sort of ignored Mom's warning to label all my boxes. It's anybody's guess where or when it'll turn up. I cup my hands against the window and peer across the street to Aaron's room, but his bedroom light is off. If he's messing with my drill, he's doing it somewhere else in the house. Since I'm way too bloated to go to sleep anytime soon, I slide my window open and pop the screen from its frame. The turquoise house came equipped with an unexpected bonus right outside my room. A trellis, sturdy enough to act as a ladder.
I'm not exactly the kind of kid who sneaks out of the house when his parents are sleeping, but it's just across the street, just to retrieve my drill. But beside, it's easier than waking my parents up and explaining why I need the drill anyway. Good. I hear the real word of the drill again, but it stops by the time I'm across the street. Good. The street light in front of my house flickers, and for a second, I'm standing on Aaron's lawn in the dark period. It's the first time I've been here this late at night, comma, and it's occurred to me that I haven't been invited, period. The light in Aaron's room is still off, and suddenly it feels like I've gone from hanging out to trespassing. Period. The girl reads up again, and I see the
Faintest.
faintest sending out from the crack of the basement door. Period. The street light flickers back on, and I find myself standing closer to the boarding up basement door when I realized I peered closer at the
My react.
minor rack of locks, spirit, comma, only what I see now that I'm closer is more unsettling than any lock, spirit. There's are handprints all over the door, comma, smears of black gas grease that creeps around the edge of the door, comma, half covered by the boards and boats, comma, boats, comma, some with tiny scratches at the tips of the fingerprint, like claws mark made by dragon fingernails. Period. Suddenly the drill emotionally cuts out and the real
Sputters.
the telltale sign of a dying battery. Period. Then a heavy footfall lands on the steps leading up from the basement. Period.
Methodically.
Making their way up the stairs.
Straight for the door, I bolt as fast as I can across the street light clicking off just as I reach my house. And all at once, I can't see the trestles against the wall. I hear the rattle of the locks behind me, thumping against the heavy basement door as they're slowly unlocked. Groping through the vines in my front yard, I finally found a wooden slack and grabbed hold of it, wedging my foot in the one beside it before pulling myself up into the window. I reach the ledge of my windowsill just as the street light clicks on again. Just as I hear the basement door swinging open behind me, I don't turn around. I fall through the open window and take cover on the floor, my heart pounding against the floorboards as I listen for movement across the street. Heavy footfalls thud against the grass, muffled in the humid, still night. The air is so dense, it feels like whoever is across the street is stealing my breath. The footsteps leave the grass and move to the sidewalk, closer, their soles cracking over the tiny pebbles on the asphalt. I squeeze my eyes shut and wait for whoever is outside my window to say something, to clamp on the trellis and climb into my room, to laugh, to do nothing at all. Instead, the person with the heavy step stands perfectly still in the middle of the road, waiting. I don't know how much time passes, maybe a minute, maybe an hour.
I know is that just when I think I'm going to die of suffocation from all that thick air, the steps recede to the side, then to the lawn, then to the basement door, where the hinges creak to a close and the lock secure whatever secret is worth locking up in Aaron's basement. I peep over the windowsill, and I'm sure no one is still lying in wait in the middle of the street. I resecure my screen and close my window. I lock the latch, but I wish I had a few more locks than that. It wasn't Aaron, I'm positive of that. Whoever wanted me to know, they knew I was there. They had a much heavier step, a heavier frame. bigger bones," I whisper, and a chill rattles my whole body. Because whatever Mr. Peterson is doing in his basement, he wants to be sure I know it's none of my business. There's no doubt in my mind. Tonight was a warning from my new friend's dad, and Mr. Peterson doesn't strike me as the type to warn someone twice.
All right, guys. So that was the end of chapter 6. I hope you enjoyed it. So we just going to try to summarize real quick, let you know what was happening and what we think is happening. So, Jamie, let's start out with you. What's going on?
So Aaron and Nikki are doing research for a farm machine, so they need supplies. So they went to the Miss Tillman's grocery store, but she charges way too much. She charges way too much for her stuff.
Oh yeah, she charges a lot. You see, she had a candy bar for $4.95. Like,
And it said they spent 6 weeks worth of allowance there.
Yeah.
So yeah, she charged way too much. So after they left Mrs. Tillman's grocery store, they went back to Aaron's house to test out Nick's audio synthesizer. And then after that, Nick went back home and felt like he left his power drill at Aaron's house.
Oh, he did leave it, and then he heard it going
so
off
he heard
at
it
night.
across the street
And
in the
so
middle
he
of the
said,
night.
well, let him go over there and go get it back.
Now, he's usually not the type of kid to sneak out the parents' house, but he felt like, okay, just because it's across the street, let me hurry up and run and get it. So he thought it was going to be that easy to do, but it really wasn't.
Right, and so then he goes over there. Didn't he climb in the window?
Yeah, and he heard the whir, which is the sound of the drill.
drill.
Yeah.
So then he was just like, okay, I know I hear my drill. Let me go get it.
But Aaron's light never
But
came
Aaron's
on.
like, right. And
Right.
his room,
So he's like,
everything
where do we
was
hear it
off.
from? Right.
And then he was like, suddenly he felt like he wasn't hanging out and he was trespassing.
And he felt, so he saw the faintest light seeping from the basement door
Mm-hmm.
in Aaron's house. There was a crack. And then, just lights kept flickering. And then it was handprints all over the basement door.
And it was
smears
heavy
of grease.
footprints that was heavier.
Yes.
To let you know that wasn't Aaron, that it wasn't a kid, that he felt like, it definitely had to be Mr. Peterson.
And then now the drill's motor, it cut off. And so then didn't hear any more of the whir sounds. And then you could tell that the battery of the drill was dying.
And then he ended up running back
across the street,
back over the windowsill to get up out of there as fast as he can. But he's positive at this point. He knows it's not Aaron. He's like, whoever wanted him to know, he had bigger bones, and so he felt like it's Mr. Peterson.
And then he heard the basement door swing open behind him, so it's just like,
so something's going on in the basement, and he knows it's none of his business, but he feels like Mr. Peterson want him to know that it's none of his business. So he don't really know, but he do know. What he said tonight was a warning from his new friend's dad.
Yes. Basically,
to stay away. Oh, and then he said something about him not striking twice. So basically he was saying that Mr. Peterson was somewhat trying to warn him to let him know that whatever he's working on, that is none of Aaron's business. I mean, none of Nick's business. And basically, Nick is saying that he don't feel like he's going to give him a warning again. So it's either you catch on now to mind your neck, stay away from here, don't be snooping around.
Yep.
Or he might go missing, or worse. At least that's how Nick is interpreting it, like something might happen.
Yeah. So,
especially with all the stuff happening and he don't know what's happening.
So for chapter 7, I definitely think Nick is not going to say anything about what he's seen because he's so scared of it. He might ask dry questions, but I don't think he's ever going to bring it to Aaron's attention because he's been warned now, and then now it's just really, really weird. That's what I think. What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know, because I'm not going to say never going to say nothing. I'm feeling like there's just so many things that's starting to occur before he's getting a chance to say something that's what's going to hold up him saying something. But I feel like it's definitely going to give him more reason to believe that something more is with the family. Because I just feel like in chapter 7, since him and Aaron, you didn't hear anything from Aaron in 6.
Oh, yeah.
So Aaron hasn't been back to say anything yet. And I just feel like if all these creepy things keep happening and you're not even around your friend yet, then I might just keep making you point the finger towards, I don't know, your friend being creepy or his parents or the house.
And what do you think is going to happen in chapter 7?
I think that Nikki is going to try to ask a little bit questions about the girl.
I don't know, child. If I would want to know about the girl, but I mean, he got all right to want to know because I mean, Aaron took him there
Mm.
and didn't tell him why. And then that's what you find out. He probably like, I got a lot to ask her and don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I mean, then how do you really ask when your father's creepy too? So it's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
And then all them locks. He might be a little bit afraid. Maybe he needs to get his dad involved because that's the other thing. That's what I be trying to tell you kids. Yeah, I be wanting to snoop around with kids, but this kid and parent. And he see Mr. Peterson as a grown man, and he's creepy. So I think he needs to be talking more to his parents, letting him know kind of what he's seeing. I mean, I know maybe the parent might be like, oh, don't stay from over there, but maybe the dad might be a little bit more investigative because he is a news reporter, an editor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe his dad to get more investigative and try to help figure out what's going on with the neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, guys, but that's just what we are thinking. You can always leave us a comment and let us know what you think. And again, we're reading the Hello Neighbor Missing Pieces. So you can get your copy or you can definitely wait for us, but we will be back in a short to read to you chapter 7.